camaraderie, communion, family, friendship, love, what have you. We're lost without connection.
Released in 2018 on Netflix, Maniac follows two strangers withdrawn from society due in part to their personalities and in part to the alienating technologies present in their world. As the show progresses, they participate in and connect through an experimental clinical drug trial mediated by a supercomputer with a consciousness. The goal of these trials, called the ULP, are to heal mental illnesses and past traumas without the need for conventional therapy. As the trials progress, the limited-run series explores non-conventional, non-linear storytelling as the narrative genre hops through the dreams or reflections of each character's subconscious. Debuting on the streaming platform Netflix, the show serves as a critique of the alienation that comes with the digital streaming culture we're presently in, while also stating how the media itself brings us together through these shared experiences. By analyzing how Maniac acknowledges this tension between alienation and connection, as well as the mediation of media, parallels can be drawn between the limited series and the digital age of spectatorship, and the influences of the streaming industry can be traced into other media formats, seen through the popularization of limited-run series and the experimentation of narrative structures. In analyzing the alienation in the series, three characters come into the spotlight. Owen, who is alienated from his family and society by his schizophrenic tendencies. Annie, who is alienated because of her borderline personality disorder and her drug addiction. And James, who is alienated due to his chronic paraphilia and unorthodox upbringing by his mother.
I've been blinded by my mother's toxic love.
A desire for what is real is present in all three of their arcs, specifically Annie, who must learn to accept the death of her sister, and James, whose reluctance to embrace genuine human emotions and connections is emphasized by his creation of the ULP drug trial.
Of course it matters. It's the only thing that matters.
Oh, what's real matters?
Yes.
Okay.
All three desire to connect with those around them, but cannot seem to forge meaningful connections in this highly technologized society. The series is set in an alternate 1980s New York, merging the digital technologies of today with a host of additional speculative technologies, all of which serve to heighten the alienation of the characters and prevent the creation of real connections. Three examples being Daddy's Home, a service in which widows can order replacement husbands; Friend Proxy, a service that provides fake friends for artificial appointments; and Avoid Pods, where people can hide away from the real world in the safety of a medical cryogenic sleeping pod.
And it's okay that you had to go in there, but I don't accept it anymore.
Over the course of the multi-day trial, all three characters come to realize that the society they live in, one that praises falsity and convenience, is to blame for their anxieties, and that they should not be alienated for desiring something real. Although they certainly have their issues and complexities, they all come out of the trials in a better direction, and we are left to question whether or not the ULP influenced this change in perspective at all. Though, despite this apparent critique of media and technology, the series also creates a counter-argument through the presence and role of the mediating supercomputer, which in turn influences how we perceive media's intervening role in today's society.
I need to go to an emergency room.
Why?
Much like the services Friend Proxy or Daddy's Home, the supercomputer named Gertie represents media's intervention on human connection. In the show, she serves the purpose of mediating the trials, intervening where she deems fit in regards to her added empathy. In his book, The Medium is the Massage, media theorist Marshall McLuhan states that all media are extensions of human faculty, psychic or physical, and that they work over us completely, which greatly falls in line with the role that Gertie plays in the drug trials and in the series as a whole. Despite believing that something cosmic may be the explanation, it is Gertie's emotional response to the death of Dr. Muramoto that triggers the connection between Annie and Owen, one that is both introspectively psychic and mechanically physical.
We were connected in all of them.
As the trials progress, Gertie's mental state deteriorates, and she begins malfunctioning. She too becomes desperate for human connection, not wishing to let anyone go, be it Dr. Muramoto after his death, or the patients in the ULP trials. Showing the amount of power and control Gertie has over the reflections, the series emphasizes the influence media has over our lives, and the complications this can create when forging real connections. However, this presence and influence of media is what ultimately connects Annie and Owen, and the show makes the claim that this is what brings us together as viewers as well. This unity through media is another concept McLuhan discusses in his book, stating, "The new electronic interdependence recreates the world in the image of a global village," which explains the worldwide effects and implications that the streaming culture can have on spectatorship and society. Released in 2018, Maniac arrived during the increasingly popular rise of streaming spectatorship, as opposed to network, broadcast, or public cinema spectatorship. One aspect that coincides with this rise of online streaming platforms is a greater sense of creative and artistic freedom among the filmmakers and producers. Without the pressures of strict schedules, timing, or commercial breaks, shows created for streaming platforms are able to convey the narrative they want to tell in the manner they best see fit, which in many cases are through arc-based, limited-run series, such as Maniac. This increase of creative freedom is greatly expressed in an academic thesis written by Ramil Sharma that compares Netflix to premium cable channels like HBO or Showtime. While Sharma states that streaming platforms and premium cable channels encourage shows to take risks, break conventions, and exude quality, he argues that the streaming service differs in that it chooses to largely cede creative control to the program's producers, maximizing Netflix's output. Maniac, with its non-conventional narrative and large production budget, expresses this trend towards loosely structured shows taking greater risks. And, due to its popularity around the world, Netflix allows for the popularization of this format to attain a global reach, giving audiences everywhere a shared experience of these shows. However, while the show holds this global reach and influence through the streaming platform, the ambivalence of its message on media and connection becomes one that challenges its viewers, which likely led to the mixed critical reception the series received upon release. While these two stances the show takes on the intervening nature of technology may appear to be opposites, I argue that an amalgam of the two appears through a close analysis of the show. It's not about using media and technology to completely avoid human interaction, or as a replacement for real connections.
Copulating with software!
It's about connecting through media in relation to the emerging technologies in the world. By navigating through the shared experiences that a streaming platform like Netflix can provide, we are able to connect deeper with those around us, and the reality of McLuhan's global village becomes a clearer image.